yakety yak, just in saying a bit more detail on the players, the squad, what was happening at the football club, and just a little bit more in depth than you normally.
Than you normally get. Okay. Well, look, obviously we'll keep an eye on Schalke against Manchester City. Schalke are 14th in the Bundesliga. Of their 22 league games, they've lost 11. So they've gone down the toilet, really. Although their manager is interesting. Domenico Tedesco. Do you know much about him?
I don't know.
So, well, he comes with high recommendations because Christian Heidel, who is the Schalke sporting director, he hired Tedesco. Now, in a former life, Heidel was at Mainz, and he is the man who found Jurgen Klopp and Thomas Tuchel and gave them jobs at Mainz.
That's right, yeah.
So now he reckons that Domenico Tedesco is the next Jurgen Klopp. He's only 33 years old, Kenny.
He's obviously got great teeth.
Tedesco.
Yeah.
I'm sure he does.
Following in Klopp's footsteps.
He's a business engineering graduate. He also has a master's degree in innovation management. He used to work for Mercedes. He's fluent in 5 languages. He never played professional football. His first season in charge, last season, he got Schalke into the Champions League. I'm not sure quite what's happened this year, but they have made the knockout stages in Europe. So that's pretty impressive. 33 years old, Kenny.
Yeah, I mean, it's amazing, really. I mean, no footballing background whatsoever. Like business purely, isn't Sarri in terms of business, banker or
banker, yeah.
But I thought he had some kind of association in terms of coaching. Sarri's
really? I mean, he just started coaching the local side, like the local town side, and worked his way up. He was a banker and hated his life and got out of banking.
There's still options, Kenny, is what Joe's trying to tell you here.
Yeah, I'd never talk somebody down. I mean, the argument always was you've never played the game
at a professional level. You talk me down all the time.
Not you. Not at all. Not at all. We converse. It's simple as that. There was an argument there previously.
That's what you call it.
If you didn't have a professional career, how could you take on a team? That used to be the
frame of reference.
Yeah, but then that kind of mushroomed out off the back of Mourinho and Wenger. That kind of argument was diluted a little bit. And now we have examples of people. I mean, even Mourinho and Wenger, they're football people.
Well, Wenger did play at the top.
He did play to a set. You're right. Not so much Mourinho at an amateur level, but they're like surrounded by the game at a very young level. Had associations, family, or whatever. You know what I mean? Very much. Married to the game, whereas these people from a totally business background.
Well, sorry, he could well have been involved with football at the weekends.
Well, he didn't. Can you find that out? I mean, this is the meat on the bone that I'm talking about.
Sorry, what are you bringing to the party? I just brought a huge amount there.
Well, this is basically what Kenny's saying separates you from being James Horncastle.
Exactly.
I mean, I don't think Tedesco was walking down the street one day and Christian Heidel walked up to him and said, "Have you any interest in football?" And he said, "No, none. I'm going to give you the job." Obviously, he was involved in football.
Was he involved in football in terms of boardroom level, commercial side, that sort of technical director?
No, I don't think so. I don't think so. He was working in Mercedes. Fluent in 5 languages.
Just the 5.
If you could learn one language, Kenny, what would it be?
Do you speak another language?
Do you know what? I'd love to be fluent in Gaelic.
Irish, Kenny. It's called Irish.
Gaelic?
Yeah.
What are you calling it Gaelic
Irish.
for?
Why not?
You were Irish.
I'd love to be Irish speaking.
And did you do it at school?
Ahead of anything.
Obviously, you did it at school.
I did Irish, but in terms of the oral, it couldn't master it. The guy never went to the Gaeltacht, which you have to be. You got to be surrounded by it.
You didn't like your Peg Sayers back in the day, no?
Oh, Peg, that oral examination there was a leaving or the intercert Peg, absolutely sweating buckets. No, I didn't. I couldn't. Little words here and there, but to be actually fluent in the language.
Right.
If you were to ask me any language,
that'd be the one.
Yeah, I would actually. Yeah, I'd love to be my own native language.
I like that. That's fair enough. So we'll talk Schalke Man City, but really, we think Atletico Juventus should be the good game this evening. Atletico, 2 finals, 2 defeats in recent times. Juve have lost more European Cup finals than any team in history. They've lost 7 European Cup finals. Heysel in 85 and then the 96 win against Ajax. They're only 2 wins.
Sorry, do you mind if I'm unprofessional here? Something just popped into my head. Sean Mannon, the ex-boxer, middleweight boxer, Irish boxer.
You saw a documentary on him recently.
Yeah, no, I read his book some time ago, but he was Irish speaking, like Gaeltacht area from Galway.
Yeah.
And when he fought exclusively over in America.
That's right,
in Boston, it's obvious enough. But his brother was always in his corner, and he insisted on having his brother. His brother hadn't got a boxing background, but he liked to converse in Irish with his brother during the fight. For that reason, he wanted an Irish speaker in the corner. Sorry, it just popped into my head. As
No,
you were
it's
talking
good.
there. Now I've got to rewind a little bit.
No,
Yeah, but I found that really,
it's quite
amazing,
poignant,
unique.
isn't it? Actually,
Yeah, absolutely. Like,
because he missed his home a lot, didn't he, Mannion? He was obviously based in
he
the States.
did. Yeah, he fought all. Yeah, it's amazing. You throw his name and people scratch their heads, look at you. But like, he's a supremely talented boxer, very close to a world title. Very interesting life that he lived. But his roots very family oriented, with Gaelic speaking, small village.
Yeah.
And going very much, although he left there early, very much rooted to his local community there.
We had him on the show a couple of years ago. Actually, I'll send
Right.
you the interview. He was good.
Yeah. Sorry, Joe.
No, you're fine. So, basic form lines here. Juventus are top of Serie A. They're 13 points clear. They're still unbeaten in Serie A. 24 wins, 3 draws. Atletico second in La Liga. They're 7 points off Barcelona. So Ronaldo, he's played 32 times, 21 goals. He scored 4 in his last 3. And then Dybala, more of a free role. There's been some talk that they don't play brilliantly together, although Allegri has shot it down. Because when they have both been available to play, he's had Dybala on the bench a lot. So we'll ask James Horncastle about that. He's generally on top of all this business. But we will get into the newsround now. So that's all on the way. Champions League ahead, Kenny. Your favourite night of the week, Champions League nights?
Yeah, and this game in particular, Atletico, I know the Manchester City obviously will have eyes on that, but for me, in terms of Juventus, in terms of their title credentials, Champions League winner, we get a real window in terms of how serious contenders they are against Atletico tonight.
By the way, just as an aside, I not to pull back the curtain too much, I was on Instagram and Tommy Rooney, who produces the OTB AM show, had a little Instagram story of you getting very excited looking at what I think was Owen Sheehan in a rally car. Did I dream that first thing this morning, or did that happen?
Oh my God, that was hilarious.
What was
Talk
happened?
about Owen totally out of his comfort zone. He was in Mondello Park.
Right.
He was in a racing
Rally
car.
cross car,
Yeah, all a helmet up. Trying to play it all casual, bothered. Yeah, now 90 mile an hour, who cares? Not me. But his like body language was telling him, sending out the stress signals.
It is, that stuff's frightening. We did a thing before when I was in Phantom where we went to Mondello and we got to go around like as a passenger in a fairly fast Porsche around the racetrack in Mondello. And whenever you think about going fast in a car before, once you're in along with a professional and they're taking corners at speed,
Really?
oh God, yeah. Your face would be turning different colours as well, Ken.
Maybe I was a little bit harsh on him, but it was absolutely hilarious. He had a fixed grin on his face, trying to, Johnny Cash, whatever, but his body was like he was out of control. He wasn't in control of his body movements.
Brian Lavin has just hit me. He says, great start to the show. 3-0 at Old Trafford in 2013-14. Is that right?
I've been fed bum info, Joe. Bum
Horrible,
info.
that is horrible.
He's going to blame the team now, not himself.
I don't want to flip the table here in anger.
Wow. I'm surprised you've even read it out. It's that humiliating. I'm surprised you've even read it out.
Well, you got to hold your hands up sometimes.
You got to own it. You got to
Balls,
own it.
yeah. What one is that?
That's like...
Is that the Jared kissing the camera one?
No.
The Moyes era? I don't even remember that.
It's just this dark cloud that nobody actually remembers.
Because the one in 09 is Vidic. Torres giving him a terrible time, isn't it?
Joe, just accept, just hold your hand up.
That
Classic one, you make a ball goes under your feet, last defender got in the back of the net. You've literally got to just put your hand up. Sorry, lads.
Man United 3, Liverpool. Hang on, go 1 second. 1 second, we just get to the
Hold on.
Hold on.
Wait a minute.
Hold on.
He won't let it go.
Hold on. Oh, yeah, it looks like the one where Jared does score. Here we go. March 16th, 2014.
2 penalties and Suarez 6 minutes from time.
Steven Gerrard penalty, 34 minutes, 46 minutes, Suarez 84. Gerrard also missed a penalty in this game.
Oh, I remember this one.
Vaguely remember that.
Yeah.
Shocker. Phil Jones penalised for a nudge on Joe Allen.
It was possibly the easy. I know the 4-1 kind of stands out, but it was possibly the easiest win Liverpool had because United in that game never laid a glove on them.
No.
Never laid a glove.
Dear, oh dear. That was a forgettable enough game, though.
For United, yeah.
Clearly. You certainly forgot it.
Here, you pipe up. Right. Look, safe to say it's the worst intro we've ever done.
We've lost a bit of momentum here. You're
We have.
absolutely right.
Let's try and wrestle some momentum back with Richie McCormack's news. Oh, for God's sake.
Good Lord. God help you all. Manchester City, as you mentioned, in Gelsenkirchen for tonight's first leg of their Champions League last 16 tie with Schalke. The teams are in. Ralph Fährmann starts in goal for Schalke. They've got a back three of Jeffrey Bruma, Salif Sane and Matija Nastasic, with Daniel Caligiuri and Bastian Ochipa providing the width. In midfield, Stuart Serdar, Nabil Bentalev, ex of Spurs, and Weston McKennie, while up front it's Hamza Mendel and Mark Uth. While for City, Ederson starts in goal. A back four of Kyle Walker, Fernandinho, Nicolas Otamendi and Aymeric Laporte. In midfield it's Kevin De Bruyne, Ilkay Gundogan and David Silva, with Raheem Sterling, Sergio Aguero and Bernardo Silva proving their front three. Tonight's other game is at the venue of this season's final, with the Wanda Metropolitano hosting Atletico Madrid and Juventus. Atleti line up with Jan Oblak in goal, a back four of Juan Fran, Jimenez, Diego Godin and Felipe Luis. In midfield it's Koke, Thomas Lemar, Rodri and Saul Niguez, with Anton Griezmann in support of Diego Costa. For Juve, Wojciech Szczesny starts in goal. Mattia De Cilio, Leonardo Bonucci, Giorgio Chiellini and Alexandro are their back four. Rodrigo Bentancur, Miralem Pjanic and Blaise Matuidi in midfield, with Paulo Dybala in behind Cristiano Ronaldo and Mario Mandzukic. Both games kick off at 8. Meanwhile, Juventus midfielder Sami Khedira has thanked fans for their well wishes after he was ruled out of tonight's game and potentially the next month after being diagnosed with an irregular heartbeat. The German midfielder says he underwent successful treatment for the problem today. Sevilla are the first side through to the last 16 of the Europa League. The 5-time winners of the competition won their second leg with Lazio 2-0 at the Sanchez Pizjuan for a 3-0 aggregate victory. Vincent Ben Yedder and Paulo Sarabia got the goals, both sides ending the game with 10 men. Chris Farrell and Tyke Byrne,
Dennis O'Mahony, send Kenny to the Gaeltacht and film it, please. I've heard worse ideas.
Hashtag content.
I've heard worse, Kenny.
Would you do it?
No, I wouldn't. I wouldn't do as a joke, like, you know what I mean?
Nobody's...
That's a joke.
No, I couldn't be.
Sorry, this
well, you
is
got to
human
film me over the
interest.
next 10 years.
No.
How long is this documentary going to be?
3 weeks.
Before I master the Irish
in the
language.
A month in the Gaeltacht to see how you find it. You could do it once a year. It's no joke, it's human interest. See how you get on. Des Bishop did a documentary about trying to learn Chinese.
Yeah.
Come on, Kenny.
Oh, I've missed about.
No, you haven't. It's never too late.
I can't. Too old. I can't.
You're never too old, Kenny.
To get around. I can't. I haven't got the patience, and no, I couldn't.
But sorry, every time I see
embrace
you,
it.
you're in here reading some book on history. You have an appetite for learning. It emanates from you. Don't tell me you wouldn't like to learn the language and give it a go.
I can't sustain the information. My memory recollection isn't very good. I can't absorb all that information. I wish I could have, whatever I read, I could absorb and actually retain it for a certain length of time. I struggle to do it, I've got to be honest with you.
But everyone struggles to do that.
Enjoy the read. I enjoy the read, all right, yeah. But the language, though, sitting down and going through the...
But you see, this is the beauty of the Gaeltacht. You're not going to have to sit there and do it. It will be more immersive. You'll just pick it up, you know? As if you went to play in La Liga.
True,
it's not as easy. It's not as easy as that.
is.
No, it's not.
It is. My eldest lad's in a
you need a bit. I genuinely think you need a bit of an aptitude. I think you need a bit of an aptitude, like the air. It's not as easy as that. I don't think I have. I remember French at school. French was like.
I think the problem was the way they taught it, Kenny. It was the way that it was taught.
I don't know.
It's dreadful. How often?
Some lads in the class. We're all taught the same thing, but some lads very quickly.
Well, for all you know, they might have been getting grinds. Let me put it this to you. In all your classes doing Irish and French growing up, and I'd say we're all of
Latin.
Latin as well.
Where did he? I think I might be right in saying we were the last year that did Latin in the leaving
as a compulsory thing.
Yeah. Well, it was available. I think you could choose to do it after, but in terms of being
still available.
No, I don't think so.
It's as an optional thing.
As an optional thing, maybe. Yeah.
Oh God, yeah.
But okay,
that was more grammar. The Latin was more kind of grammar. Wasn't really.
Did it stand to you in any way? Did the Latin serve you anything? Use? No.
Do you enjoy good Latin mass?
I was going to say I serve mass.
But my point was going to be, in all your years learning French and Irish, how often did you ever speak it in the classroom? I'd say all the time you did.
No,
it.
It's true. Yeah, no, it wasn't. Yeah.
So that's the point. That's what the Gaeltacht gives you. You actually be speaking it, as opposed to repeating verbs.
I understand how it operates, the Gaeltacht, John. I'm not arguing that with you.
What are you arguing then?
You just doesn't want to be filmed.
I think you have to be motivated. You really got to be motivated to go and do it.
You just said you really want to learn the language.
47 years of age.
That's ageist.
I can't park myself in the Gaeltacht for 3 weeks this summer.
No, actually, I'll give you that.
The young fella herding around the house like a madman, like at home with the missus. Like
what if somebody...
I'm heading over into, Donegal for 3 weeks. The mobile signal isn't great either, so I don't be expecting any phone.
What if some kind soul was to come to us tonight offering to give you a bit of a steer
I'd thank him.
Not that I'm soliciting.
I'd thank him for his generosity, like, but
Not your bag. Okay, fair enough.
Shame.
Fair enough.
Boat sailed. Move on.
Fair enough. Both sailed. What are you going to do, Kenny? You can't just block everything out now that you're 47, you know?
Read more books.
Yeah. Well, I'm in at the moment. Yeah. Books wise, I was in Chapters this afternoon as well. I was looking for a book. This young fella showing me around. Bless him. It was his first day in there.
No.
Young kid.
Jeez.
Following him around for
Republic of
about
Ireland
15
captain
minutes.
walks in.
I know he could. I said, look, don't. He was getting a bit stressed. I said, look, don't worry about it. It's not a problem.
What was the book?
Fly Fishing by J.R.
No, do you know what it was? I read it just one of these Lee Child, the Jack Reacher ones.
Oh, yeah.
Easy reads.
Yeah.
I got one a while ago and quite enjoyed it. So I was up with the second hand.
Looking for it. Have you seen the films?
Cheap, doing the cheap. You know.
Seen the Jack Reacher films?
Yeah.
So-so.
Typical.
Grand, typical.
Yeah.
3-star.
Enjoyed the
Tom
book.
Cruise.
Enjoyed the book a bit more, actually.
Book better, is it?
Yeah.
Okay, we need to get a move on. So, team news ahead of Wednesday night rugby.
Yeah, Chris Farrell and Tyke Byrne both came through Ireland training today ahead of Sunday's Six Nations game away to Italy. Both Munster players have overcome respective knee issues, with Byrne having missed the opening 2 rounds of the tournament. Gary Ringrose does miss the trip to Rome with a hamstring injury, but the coaching staff haven't ruled the centre out of the March 10th visit of France to the Aviva. A decision on whether to start Johnny Sexton or Joey Carby at half in Rome will be made later in the week. Skills coach Richie Murphy was asked today about Sexton's combative style of play and whether that may require altering in an effort to prolong his career.
I think it's just the game that he plays. He plays flat on the line. People, when you play flat on the line, you're going to get hit. And the thing is that obviously we don't want him off the pitch. But there's definitely a fine line between what is fair and what isn't fair. And as long as the referees are able to judge that and decide what is what's right, I think Johnny's not going to change the way he plays that much.
So obviously this is a Sunday game, so concrete word on the team is not really around as it might usually be on a Wednesday, but it does seem to look like Sexton is going to start on Sunday. We've got Keith and Andy Dunn on the way after 8. The Irish women in action as well.
Yeah, their team to face their Italian counterparts on Saturday night shows a solitary change from their win over Scotland, with Catherine Dane replacing Elsie Hughes at scrum half, while Lindsay Peat and Laura Sheehan could make their first appearances of the campaign off the bench in Parma. Scrum half Craig Casey and winger Angus Kernahan come into the Ireland under-20 side to face Italy this game on Friday night. Meanwhile, Billy Scannell has been named among the replacements and should become the 3rd member of his family to represent their country.
Isn't it?
It's usually, yeah.
So Padraig Harrington has his opposite number.
And that man is Steve Stricker, who says he's looking forward to spending more time with the European Ryder Cup captain Harrington. Stricker today confirmed as the man to lead the US at Whistling Straits next year. The 51-year-old played 3 Ryder Cups as a player and has been vice-captain for each of the last 3 editions of the tournament. He was already confirmed 2018 captain Jim Furyk as his first vice-captain, and the Wisconsin native says he'll draw on his 6 tournaments worth of experience next year.
Yeah, there's a lot going on. I mean, there's a lot behind the scenes, as players, but then when you see it as captains and the vice captains, there's just a lot to do, and there's a lot to think about, and there's a lot you got to take care of the 12 players, but their wives or their partners, everything, and then to get these guys playing their best is always a challenge as well. So. I've learned a lot, I've experienced a lot, and hopefully I can use some of that experience this next time.
Steve Stricker, what a man.
Seems like a very pleasant man.
He is a legend.
Nice bloke.
Yeah.
Nice bloke, isn't he?
Great golfer as well in an underrated way.
Yeah,
To come to his first Ryder Cup in 41, wasn't it? He was 41 when he played his first tournament in 2008, which is quite impressive.
He has a very odd looking swing in that he doesn't break his wrist at all. It's the most simple golf swing.
Right, I think I know,
Puts his hands in the club,
visualise it,
turns his body one way, turns his body the other way. Everyone's like kind of cocking the wrists and it's timing and all this stuff. Stricker's developed this unbelievably simple way of playing brilliant golf, and was an unbelievable putter as well. Gave Tiger Woods putting lessons.
He's tight with Woods, actually, very close, isn't he?
They seem to be decent friends.
Yeah.
Very different people.
Yeah, exactly. Like,
Very
wouldn't be a natural match. Like,
Yeah. So. It's not. He's not a superstar. Look, it's not Phil Mickelson versus Harrington. It doesn't have that showbiz element. But
did they say he'd appointed Jim Furyk as his vice captain? So Furyk is stepping down. Didn't he lead the US team last time? That's an odd one, isn't it? Do you think when you step up and you're actually to step back and be a vice,
It's something the Americans have been doing. They don't really do it so much on the European tour.
Yeah.
Like Paul McGinley said, I'm out.
That's what I'm saying. I mean, once you're at that level to kind of step back into
it's a very GA thing to do. Because you'll see, look what Stephen Rochford's done, for instance. He's manager at Mayo the last 4 years and stepped down to be assistant under Declan Bonner at Donegal. And Eamon O'Shea coming back in, which might get time to come back in after previously managing Tipperary for 3 years, coming in working with Liam Sheedy. I have
a bit of admiration. It shows a real kind of lack of ego, to be honest, because that's the big thing with some people, and I can understand it. You know what I mean?
It's probably exactly what you need in that situation.
Yeah. So to step down and accept a smaller role for me, it's basically saying, look, it's not about me. It's about the team. Yeah. Whatever works for the team. So yeah, I show a bit of respect to that.
Yeah. Somebody says this Saturday after the Dublin Mayo match, there's going to be a pop-up Gaeltacht in the Piper's Corner on Marlborough Street.
Yeah.
You don't have to be fluent, you just have to have an interest in Irish. Perfect opportunity to start the Cúpla Focal.
There you go.
There you go. There is a real revival, I think. There is
Really
a movement at the moment.
Totally, yeah.
Yeah.
Is that right?
My eldest lad's in the Gael school. The rest of them will go to it as well.
I think people.
That's great to hear.
People feel we we're getting very close to being on the verge of losing it, and that's focusing minds. Stephen Limerick says, I was in the last year that had to do PEG. From that year after it was optional, everyone dropped it. PEG did more damage to the Irish language than Cromwell.
Jesus. Tough read. It would have been a tough read even if it was written in English, I think.
It would, yeah.
That was a tough life Peg had.
The Shannos poems?
Yeah. They were difficult.
Dreadful. Like, you couldn't actually design a syllabus which would put people off more.
What is that supposed to do in terms of fostering the language?
I don't know.
Here's a really old,
poem.
like, crackless version of a poem.
Can't even speak normal Irish. Don't give me like the Shakespeare stuff.
Yeah.
Shakespearean Irish, Kenny.
Imagine trying to string a sentence together in England and then being, in English, and then being handed a copy of Henry V. And then go, there you go, learn that. No.
Completely out of the blue question here from Eddie. Lads, can you ask Kenny which is tougher, constant travel for matches or the matches themselves? You wouldn't have really done constant travel, would you?
Is this like a club football or...?
Yeah. Eddie hasn't given us any more or less.
I quite enjoy the travel, to be honest with you, the buzz. I mean, we say when I played in London, say travelling outside up the north, so it'd be a case we'd meet at Toddington, the services at the bottom of the M1, so people would leave their cars there. So everybody'd meet and was whooshed straight into the services.
Can I just say, there's a glee in your face that I've never seen before. When you're talking about Toddington services.
Kenny, what was that, Toddington services?
Well, it's exactly that, services.
Did they have a good hot food counter?
So you Burger King, you had also the lads that be coming back, literally like shopping bags either side, coming onto the coach. Takeaway food, big 2 litre bottle. I'm going to knock it out. It's an international teammate of mine used to get the biggest bottle of Coke
Ivan Leon Hartson
he could buy and start off and it's sweet stuff. The Cartskill would be going at the back of the Hearts would be going at the back of the coach. The video would be on. Great little buzz.
Like at the Gaeltacht.
And then of course on the flip side, coming back after the game, particularly after a win, happy days, pizzas coming on, fish and chips, depending on where you were. Plymouth away, Cornish pasties.
Right.
Grimsby, always fresh cotton chips for obvious reasons, and the buzz off the back of the result. So, in terms of the answer to the question, a bit of a grind. Actually, by and large, great.
Eddie,
buzz.
I've never seen him this happy.
Great buzz.
Yeah. Once you get him talking about food, Joe. Once we get him talking about food, he's a happy man.
So it's Geneva.
Yeah, for the very first time, Ireland are going to be heading to Geneva for the Euro 2020 qualifier away to Switzerland. The Swiss FA confirming today that game will be played at the 30,000 capacity Stade de Genève on October 15th. There'll be a 7:45 kickoff. The meeting with Group D's top seeds is Ireland's penultimate game in that group. Ireland's last 2 games in Switzerland were both played in Basel. They previously played in Bern before that, and this will be the Boys and Green's first visit to the lakeside city. And meanwhile, Michael Obafemi has signed a new 3.5-year contract with Southampton. The Republic of Ireland striker's new deal will keep him at St Mary's until the summer of 2022. Obafemi scored his first senior goal for the Saints in December's 3-1 win away to Huddersfield, barely a month after making his international debut. Chelsea coach Maurizio Sarri says he hasn't spoken to the club owner Roman Abramovich about his future. The board is understood to be concerned about recent results, with the team booed off the pitch following Monday's home loss to Manchester United in the FA Cup 5th round. Sarri says 3 or 4 wins in a row will ease the pressure on him and his players. But speaking ahead of tomorrow night's Europa League second leg with Malmo, the Italian says the much criticised Sarri ball is going nowhere.
I know very well that when we lose, I have to put a striker on the pitch. When we win, I have to put a defender on the pitch, but I want to see the football in another way.
A lot of people are saying your stubbornness regarding playing N'Golo Kante, where you played for France and Chelsea before, maybe in the end your downfall. Do you see that?
It depends on how you see football. In that position, I want a player able to move the ball very fast. And this is not the best characteristic of N'Golo. N'Golo is very useful for us, but this one is not his best characteristic.
He's won a World Cup and he's won 2 Premier League cups.
But in another system.
Maybe change the bloody system, it's not working.
No, I actually think he spoke very well there, Sardi, in terms of so what he's got to do, basically. We've had this conversation before. He demands a player in the holding midfield position of a certain level of technical ability. He thinks Kante is just below that, and he may be right. So what he's got to go and find a player of Jorginho's technical qualities, but also somebody who can defend at the same time.
Oh, well,
He's got to spend money on finding
loads
that player.
of them around, isn't there?
No, there's not too many. That's what I'm saying. That's not easy to do, but he's got to find one.
I was being sarcastic. Why didn't you just change the system? Like, well, play a Pat Nevin. We recorded him earlier. Pat was like, just a 4-2-3-1. Done. Lovely.
But this fellow won't. But
So
I
that's
can understand that.
That's madness.
Well, for me, it's not mad. I said it, we had a conversation last night. He doesn't have to change his philosophy. He's got to change the personnel.
But he doesn't have the option of doing that right now. He can improve it. He doesn't have the option of doing that right now.
He does have. I'd play Kante there, not because I think Kante's technically a better player, has got a better range of pass than Jorginho. I don't think he has. But his overall game, in terms of what he brings it in terms of his defensive strengths, and I think he's actually better on the ball than people are thinking, giving him credit for. Kante get on the ball and pass it quickly.
Everyone's giving Kante credit on the ball except Sarri. I haven't heard anyone else say Kante can't play there.
Basically what he's saying, he's not at the level that he wants the player to play in that area of the pitch. And I think that's fair. He's not at Jorginho's level. But Jorginho is so redundant when they haven't got possession of the ball. He's a massive Achilles heel in that area of the pitch. And it's a huge weakness in the Chelsea team. So for me, in terms of what you get from Kante in that position overall as a player, for me, Chelsea would be the better position, him in that area of the pitch. And I've referenced Louise anyway at the back. I'd made 1 or 2 changes there, but he doesn't have to change the philosophy. For me, stick with it, but change the personnel.
Okay. We've got Pat Nevin on later on talking about the situation there. He was at Stamford Bridge on Monday night. This Thursday, 21st of February, we're continuing our build-up to the Cheltenham Gold Cup with the latest Road to Bulmers, our Bulmers Road to Gold event. We'll be at the 22 nightclub in Dublin with Jarlath Regan, Brian Cooper, Kate Harrington, Vogue Williams, Ollie Bell, live music from Smash Hits. It's an exclusive off-air event. The only way to be there is to be there on the night, and we have tickets to give away this evening. Tell us, Kate Harrington is the daughter of which legendary trainer? So if you know the answer to that, text your number to 53106. We'll announce the winner at the end of the show. And if you don't win tonight, there are still some tickets available. So offtheball.com/events is where you can get your hands on the tickets for this Thursday's event. So offtheball.com/events. We're talking Champions League next.
Off the Ball on News Talk. News Talk Breakfast.
Just for people who are listening to this, what do you want them to remember about Shane and Brandon? What do you want Shane and Brandon's legacy to be?
I want them to be remembered as the loving and caring boys they were. And I hope that maybe some way that somebody, can get help from hearing me talking about it. It's nothing to be ashamed of. And I just, hope if anyone out there needs help that they get it.
News Talk Breakfast with Shane Coleman and Kieran Cuddihy.
In association with AIR.
Back tomorrow from 7 on News Talk.
Having a flutter? Top tip, QuinBet.com. Ireland's newest online sportsbook and casino. For all your horse racing, football, casino and more, QuinBet has you covered. With live in-play markets on mobile, PC and app. QuinBet.com. Terms and conditions apply. Gamble responsibly. Visit gambleaware.ie.
Is your Volkswagen in need of a checkup? Trust an approved Volkswagen technician for peace of mind and to help keep your Volkswagen a Volkswagen. Book a classic service online for just €169 at Volkswagen.ie with free 1 year's roadside assistance and tyre care.